what Sir Jim's been on, because Sir Jim's been on a madness. Big interview dropped. Obviously, he was talking about business first, but of course, they was asking about football stuff, and he dropped some bombs, bro. So, I covered it yesterday, of course, in a Flex's view, but it is the sort of show that you guys need to have your say on. We need to go back through the quotes, and people put it in the chat as well. When I did the Flex's view, they said you left out the Arteta thing. I'll be honest, I didn't know he said that bit. I hadn't, at the time of recording, I hadn't seen. It was like the quotes I was getting from the aggregators kind of didn't get to that Arteta bit and Sir Alex at the beginning of this and that. So that's the reason why I didn't bring that up, because I wasn't aware of that, which gives even extra foolishness to what he was saying, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they came out very sort of, it was a weird situation how that all came out. But he said on Ruben Amorim, a big backing of the Manchester United head coach. He says he's not had the best of seasons. No shit. He said Ruben needs to demonstrate he is a great coach over 3 years. That's where I would be. The press, sometimes, I don't understand. They want overnight success. They think it's a light switch. He loves the light switch analogy. He does that quite a lot. Yeah, he does. Said Jim. They think it's a light switch.
They think it's the Premiership of Manchester United.
Yeah, I think it's a light switch. You flick the switch and it's all going to be roses tomorrow in Manchester United. You cannot run a club like Manchester United on knee-jerk reactions to some journalist who goes off on one every week, is what he said. Now, he continued on, and he compared it to the early days of Sir Alex Ferguson and also Mikel Arteta, as Flex mentioned. He says, I remember the pressures that were calling for Ferguson's sacking in his first 2 years. Look at Arteta with Arsenal. He faced a tough time in his first 2 years. We are ultimately driven by results. Whoa, that's an interesting one. We're ultimately driven by results, but we have to be patient and look at the results in the long term. I believe there are a lot of good things at Manchester United, and we need to be patient and have a long-term plan. It's not just a matter of pressing a button, also known as flicking a light switch. I told you, he loves the light switch.
He loves it. Yeah, he loves
it. Loves the light switch.
Stupid.
He loves the light switch analogy. And when asked if he intends to give Ruben Amorim, said 3 years as the Manchester United head coach, he says, yes, 3 years, because things don't happen overnight. Now, he said a load of other stuff, which we'll get to, but that was the big backing of Ruben Amorim from Jim Ratcliffe there. First, there's quite where'd you begin to break down all of that? I kind of giggled to myself when he was like, they wanted to sack Alex Ferguson in his first 2 years. And I thought, yeah. And then Sir Jim did it in a year, didn't he? Which is pretty impressive. He managed to sack Ferguson after 1 year. Not bad. He's like, I did it in a few months. But
yeah, where do you stand on all this? Because I've had my say yesterday. What are you saying?
To be honest, yeah. He says a lot of stuff there, but where is it? Is it this one? He says all of that. 3 years, this, that, and the other. We are ultimately driven by results. There you go. But as soon as he said that, I went, right. So all of you're saying there, the backing's great. The backing's great. You're saying Ruben Amorim, we want to give him 3 years. I want to give him 3 years. He's got to prove he's going to be a great coach over 3 years. But we're ultimately driven by results. That, to me, is immediately he's given himself an out there to basically say, look, but if we keep losing games, I'm going to have to sack him, aren't I? So that's it. It's the same thing that was put out there. To be fair, shout out Laurie Whitwell. He absolutely got it spot on a couple of weeks ago when he said the intention for Sir Jim Ratcliffe is to give Ruben Amorim the full season. And he's even now said publicly his intention is to give him to the end of his contract, which is 2.5 years. Let's round it up to 3. But the intention is for him to see out his contract. But results dictate everything. So if Man United keep losing games, and like he says, results dictate everything, Ruben Amorim can still put himself in an untenable position. It just depends on what your threshold is for that untenable position. For a lot of people, he's already been put in an untenable position because over 50 games, the results haven't been good enough. The win percentage is the worst since the Second World War, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Him coming out publicly and saying that, I've given 3 years and it's not a light switch and it's going to take a lot of time. We all know that. We all know that. But at the same time, like he says, it's driven by results, which we've all said. At the end of the day, what is it about? Winning football matches. That is what it is about. If Ruben Amorim starts winning football matches or continues to win football matches after that Sunderland game, then he'll get 3 years. He'll get till the end of the season because things will be going how the expectation is that they should go. But, Sir Jim and Ineos, they got expectations of where they want Manchester. I'd love for that same person to ask him, so where do you want to have Man United finish this season? What's the expectation? You're saying it's not an overnight thing and you can't flick a light switch, but surely you expect them to win games and you expect them to be competing for things, maybe not Premier League, Premiership titles just yet, but surely they've got to be winning football matches. If they don't win football matches, then he'll end up going. It's just, it's like any manager back in. The Forest owner, he publicly backed Nuno like 3 weeks before he sacked him. It's always
so part Karen Brady with Graham Potter.
So
great, you're going to do this, going to do that.
So it is something in the sense that he's coming out publicly backing his guy. Ruben's a nice guy because that's that. When you watch the interview as well,
it was different when you watch it. It's different.
It's very different because they ask him about Ruben and goes about results and pressure and this, that, and the other. And the first thing he says is, Ruben's a nice guy. And
the guy goes,
that's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you.
Not what I asked you.
That's always a bit of a red flag, isn't it? Because if me and you are sitting down and or you're sitting down with someone and they go like, so let's talk about Owen's performance. How's Owen doing? And the first thing you go is, Owen's a nice guy. You go, well, this is well.
Yeah, well, how good is he at his job, though? I'm not asking you what's he like down the pub. I'm asking you.
Well, he's a nice guy. He's nice, smiles. So
but what's he like as chief operations manager? Like, what's he like as
good to be around,
content producer? Like, what's he like?
Good to be around.
I know, but the videos and stuff, and the time and keeping, and what's he like with that?
He tells the best jokes.
Good segues.
Yeah, you should see him press start and end stream.
I'll tell you what, this is really good. His knowledge of WWE is excellent as well. To start throwing mad stuff in there.
Exactly. We're not really talking about the real what we're supposed to be talking about here. So yeah, I kind of saw it as all right. He's and talk about timing as well. It comes after a win in an international break. Had we lost. And then he would be doing this. I think it would be like, what's going on there? But I don't come out of that interview basically being like, well, Ruben's definitely sticking around for 3 years now. There's nothing that's going to happen to change that. Like I said, results change it, but it does confirm what Laurie Whitwell said a week or so ago, which is the intention is to back Ruben Amorim as much as they possibly can until results force them to do otherwise. And they're certainly not going to be swayed, I think, by like individual results. So a bit like that Sunderland, when we were going into the Sunderland game, we're like, if he loses today, he's going to get the sack. I don't think Ineos are looking at it like that. I think they're looking at it more as like an overall picture. If it gets untenable, then he'll go. But I don't really think it changed anything for me. Actually, more I think about it. Like, okay. We've heard him say that before. Results will determine everything.
So that whole point there of results, you can have the best intention in the world, but if he loses 4 in a row from now to the next international break, he'll get sacked. I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying we will. I don't think that will happen. But let's just say we lost against Liverpool, Brighton, Forest, and then Spurs. Like, he'd probably get sacked. So 100% is driven by results. My thing was a few things, which I did touch on yesterday, but I did get a bit more context even after that as well when I saw the Arteta stuff. I went on Sky as well yesterday and you get a bigger picture of what's been going on. Because obviously we do instant reactions here. You kind of get the quotes, you go instant reaction. How do I feel about this? And then kind of you absorb more information, you see more stuff. You end up watching the video as well, which changes a bit of the context. Not much, but a little bit. My biggest gripes with it was that I think it goes... Yes, it always is driven by results. So you can always have that, that full stop of like, yeah, you can say all that, but it's just by results. But I just feel like using the word give, like like he doesn't have to earn 3 years. I didn't like that. I think he's gone too... I know people are saying, what do you expect him to say? he's shit and we're going to take it game by game. That's not a vote of confidence, is it? So no, don't expect that either. But I think he could have gone somewhere in the middle to not go as far as basically saying, you know, essentially it's a 3-year thing. Like he has to earn that time. But they're saying they're just going to give it to him.